Hey, this is Ryan with Alaska Adventure Guides. I had a client just asked the other day how we fillet our salmon. So just a quick little demonstration of what I do. That's not to say that other methods don't work, but this is what works for me. It's kind of the way I was taught many years ago and still works. I've tried different ones, but this is still how I do it. So start down here at the tail, just in front of the tail, and make a cut straight down. Start to cut forward, straight along the backbone. You can feel that spine right there. You can feel that with your knife blade as you're cutting through. Now this fish has already been gutted. We did that on the river before we brought it in, so this process is just slightly different with this one than one that's on the river that has the guts in it. That's going to hold it a little bit more open. We'll get up to just in front of that vent fin, right about in here, and I'm going to change the angle of the knife from this to about like that, and I'm going to pull that through, and the point, my goal will be to keep the point of the knife just right along the spine as I do that. Right here, I'll change that angle. I'll pull that more forward at the back and leave it behind at the belly, kind of holding the fish down, and then right down the backbone, so just this side of the dorsal fin, and then try to keep that line as straight as possible. Come up here just behind the pectoral fin, and then I want to angle the knife. I don't want this cut straight down. You got some good meat right here, and the belly meat is not as substantial right there. So angle that down, pull that pectoral fin over the knife, straight down to the cut that you made. So you can see that cut is right to the backbone. That's about right where I want it. And then all the way through the fish back here, and then angling up this direction. I'm going to start up here by the head and go right here by that backbone. Now this is where this starts to differ just a bit if the fish is gutted, because there's nothing to kind of hold that belly cavity up, and so the angle of my knife right now is going to be more this direction rather than a little bit flatter if there was still something kind of holding that up. So this angle goes a little bit further down, and my objective right now is to cut right along these rib bones. And so you can kind of hear those. And I cut from head to tail on this one. It makes the knife kind of just slide a little bit easier. Of course, I've got one bone here that I've missed. Of course, I started to say it is always helpful to have a very sharp knife for this process. So just running the tip along the bones here, going all the way back to where I had cut all the way through the fish, right near that fin. So that is a pretty good fillet at this point. So I'll pull that fin up again, and then I'm going to make kind of a straight cut back here. Just keep this cut as straight as possible, right to where we started, and there we go. There's that first fillet. Set that one aside. I'm going to flip this fish over and go this way. I didn't mention right in the beginning, but I like to have the back of the fish facing me, and I like to start with the tail on the left side and then fillet to the right side, and then go the opposite direction. Some people may prefer that different. That's just a preference thing to me. Here we'll start at the tail again. I made this vertical cut straight down to the backbone and then pull forward. I can use my thumb now. If I make that cut straight down rather than coming in back here, if I do this, I gain the tiniest bit of meat, but here I've got something to hold that fish, the carcass, the rest of the fish, the body of the fish down with as I'm pulling against. I'm pulling the knife the other direction. So same thing, I'll go right by this fin and cut all the way through the fish here, making sure to stay right along as close as I can to the backbone or to the back of the fish. And then right in here, we'll angle this forward again. Now here again, this is kind of optional. With this fish gutted, I find it's a little bit easier. I'm going to make this cut straight to where the cut is from the other side, which is right there. And then right in, go a little bit forward. I'm going to go ahead and take the, the head off this fish. Just makes it a little bit easier to work with as we get toward this end of it. So we are right about here, and now I'm going to pull this angle forward, again trying to keep this as straight a line as possible, and then pulling the knife blade more of this angle rather than this angle. Try to get that knife tip right along the backbone, right along the spine. Right there it is. Of course, being real careful with the hands right there as you're pulling that knife through. And then here we go. Here's our cut. We're right at the spine here. I'm going to run right along that, again, from the head of the fish toward the tail and right along the ribs. And I'm pulling that fillet back away from the ribs as we go. And again, you'll find guys that'll do this faster, guys that'll use different methods. Some people will go right through and take the ribs off and then cut them after the fact off of the fillet rather than leaving them on the body of the fish. It can certainly work, but this is what has seemed to work best for me. Just getting through all the ribs there, and then same thing. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge here because there's nothing really holding that piece of belly meat. So it'll be a little bit of a challenge getting kind of a straight line back here. In fact, I think I'll start right here. Go back this way just to help me get that cut started. That's kind of optional. And then again, keeping this bottom cut as straight as possible. And there's one more good fillet. That's how we do it. Feel free to leave me a comment down below and see what works best for you. I'd be interested to hear. Take care, guys.